Oh, man. Disaster. Here we are. This one is actually going to work. I have figured it out. Okay. Welcome to the Daily Fantasy Show brought to you by DFO. It is Wednesday, November 15th of the great year 2017. How did everybody do last night? I saw a bunch of guys crushing because you played me head to head and absolutely curb stomped me because I used Winnipeg last night and they sucked. I did not. I made a stupid swap. I swapped off Matthias Ekholm. So originally I had Matthias Ekholm and Evgeny Dadonov, and I swapped to Craig Smith and PK Subban instead of swapping off Edler. I could have gone Ekholm and what's his nuts, Oscar Klefbom, and I, even with Winnipeg one doing diddly, I still would have put up almost 50. Damn, dude, that's impressive. Fourth on the Big FanDuel 7. That is nuts. Congratulations. Even though you didn't win, fourth place is pretty fucking sweet in a huge tournament like that. I did have Doobie. Yeah, I had Doobie in that as well. What can you do? That's why you never swap with under an hour to go. The gut is always right. Yeah, McJesus went bananas. I mean, that first goal of his was really Derek Englund, batting the puck out of midair. But that second one was pretty legit. But yeah. So we got 3 games to win it all back tonight. I said I wasn't going to play hockey tonight. I have a whole bunch of NBA tonight, but I'm probably going to play hockey again tonight because why would I do a show and not play? Right? Am I right? So let's dive right into these 3 games here. Yeah, Evgeny Dadonov didn't do anything after that first assist, which kind of sucked. But can't really do anything about it now. So let's hop into these 3 games. We have Calgary traveling to Detroit to face... I don't watch basketball. I don't. I honestly don't watch basketball. I put in my lineup and I'll turn on DK Live for like 5 minutes. And then when my battery goes from 100% to 7% in those 5 minutes, I just get tilted and throw my shit all over the place. Your win is coming, my man. Your win is coming. Maybe it's tonight, maybe it's tomorrow, but it's coming. So Calgary travels to Detroit to face the Reddy Wings. Got Eddie, I love Tacos Lack, facing Jimmy Howard. Mike Smith is out. He's not even backing up Eddie Lack tonight. So this is an interesting game for me. I know AD and I were briefly chatting this morning about Detroit. I know it looks like Larkin matches up against the ones. But after that, it gets kind of washy after that. For me, okay, so let's talk about Detroit first. If I know for sure, since they don't really match up, if I know for sure that the Zetterberg-Mantha-Nyquist line isn't going to be hard matching the 3M line, pretty sure that Detroit one is going to be one of my top lines tonight. I really like them. I'm not a huge Eddie Lack guy. He really hasn't played that much this season. Again, if the Zetterberg line gets, say, like the Yager line, I think this is a really good matchup for Detroit 1. I also really like Detroit 2, even though they're going to be going up against Monahan and Gaudreau. I think this is a Josh Stack opportunity, and you can go top line. The top line is Zetterberg, Mantha, Nyquist. The second line is Larkin, Athanasiou, which I'm really surprised I could pronounce because I can't pronounce a lot of things and I can pronounce Athanasiou correctly. And Tomas Tatar. I think you definitely can go for that top 6. I think Detroit's going to be a popular play tonight, but again, I think everybody's going to be a popular play. It's only 6 teams. You can only get so creative. I really don't have any interest in the blue line for Detroit. Their defenders are just not good. If you're gonna Josh stack 6-man stack the Red Wings, I think you should use Jimmy Howard. It would be logical. Even though Calgary is a little scary, maybe you want to go Gibson or you want to, Jankowski cash punt, sure. Who'd I put? Someone was 3,400 that I really liked today. Let me look. On GK, anyway. Oh, Sam Bennett, yeah. He's on that line, so, yeah. I think you can go there. No, it's Sam Bennett. I'll get to Frankie Vatrano. I like that Boston 2 better than Boston 1 tonight. I know AD made a couple of wagers that will, if he wants to tell you, he'll tell you. But I like Detroit. So on the flip side, I do like Calgary 1 as well. I know they're a better play at home. I like to use them at home better, but I don't think people full stack that line. I think people leave Ferland off for whatever reason. He's coming into his own a little bit. I think you can go there, Gaudreau, Monahan, and Ferland. You want to use the 3M line. I'm okay with that as well. They're cheap. They're a little more expensive than the Detroit top line, but again, price is not an issue tonight. You can take... you can almost fit anybody in tonight. You can't really fit in New York 1 and Calgary 1. Almost. But other than that, salary is not going to be an issue tonight. So if you, because I'm not a firm believer that Detroit is a great defensive team, and it's obvious if you look at the numbers. But Jimmy Howard is Detroit's best system goalie. I've gotten hammered for that before. What's his face is the better goalie, but this is not the right system for him. So Calgary 1 definitely in play. The 3M line also in play. I'm more on the Detroit side of this game. I just think they're young, quick, fast. Eddie Lack untested this year. Can he have a good game? Who you got winning the Blackhawks Rangers tonight? I don't know. The homer in me is going to say the Rangers. But, Chicago is, the top line is up there for me. But we'll get to that. Again, 6 games. I think, Jimmy Howard's my preferred play. I'm not a huge fan of Eddie Lack tonight. I'm sure he's going to have ownership anyway. But especially if you're using Calgary, I think people who correlate will use Eddie Lack and Calgary together. I didn't correlate last night. I used Dubnyk with Winnipeg and Nashville. So it's not like I've written about before. You don't have to auto lock the goalie of the team you're stacking. It does, from a GPP standpoint, it does have the highest ceiling, and I understand it. But again, just from a strategy perspective, I'm not 100% auto-locking the goalie of the teams I use, especially if I firmly believe... why couldn't you believe it? He's awesome with Eichel. I'm not the only one who called that. I won't, take a lap on Twitter for that kind of stuff. I think you need to have a slice of humble pie, because over the course of a season, I'm going to be way wrong more than I am way right. So... I know I called it, but I've also been wrong way more than I've been right so far this season, I think. So you want to give me a shout out on Twitter, sure, but I'm not going to pat myself on the back on Twitter and take a victory lap. But yeah, I do okay. Occasionally I'm useful. Yeah. But I try to stay humble. It's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Who is my Sam Reinhart tonight? We'll go with another Sam, and we're going to say Sam Bennett. I think he even though Yager is 137 years old, he is still a very good passer. Reinhardt is quick. I like that third line for Calgary. If I'm going to go to a third line tonight, I think that's the one I'm going to use. But they're going to be more popular than they should be. But, the Rangers' third line is decent. Chicago 3 is okay. I don't know if you need to go there tonight with salary not being an issue. I mean, if you want to leave salary on the table, that's another story. That's a way to differentiate yourself in GPPs. I think Sam Bennett's a good play tonight. So let's move on to the second game of the night. We have my New York Rangers traveling to Chicago to face the Blackhawks. 17-9 is the top line for Chicago. It is Corey Crawford against Henrik Lundqvist. I think both goalies are a tad overpriced in this game. I'm not a huge Corey Crawford guy. I almost never use Corey Crawford. I think he's overrated. And if you want to yell at me for that, go ahead. But that combined with, the blue line of the Blackhawks, I much prefer the Rangers offense in this game. So I'm going to use a goal in this game, it's going to be Henrik Lundqvist as opposed to Corey Crawford. So let's talk about the Rangers first. The problem I have with the Rangers is there are 3 scoring lines. Obviously the main 2 scoring lines are going to be the top 2. And I think, the second line has a little bit more value tonight, I think. They're going to avoid Taves, which isn't as scary anymore. But, Kevin Hayes, Rick Nash, Matt Zuccarello, I think from at least a, price to value perspective, the top line is $3,400 more than that line. I think this lets you get in better defensemen, better goalies, however you're filling out your lineup. I don't have a problem with the top line, Zibanejad, Buchnevich, and Kreider. That's definitely a viable play as well. Yeah, Crawford did get lit up on Sunday. When he's bad, he's bad. I don't know if it's his positioning or what, but when he's bad, he there's just no correcting it for him. He can't in-game correct. When he's good, he's really good though. But I still think he's overrated. The third line is okay. JT Miller, I think if you're going to use anybody, I believe it. Davey, VC, and JT Miller. I kind of like Miller. VC is 3,400. He is coming off a couple of games, even though he got a tooth knocked out into his lip. If you didn't see that, I saw on Twitter. Oh yeah, Shaddy's in play in cash for sure at 5,800. Will the first line New York be chalk? I think they'll have ownership for sure. I think the second line will kind of eat into their ownership. I think this game, I'm not really sure. Like normally I have a pretty decent grasp on ownership, but short slates are tougher because people just throw, like, pardon the expression, but people just throw shit at a wall and hope something sticks. There's no right or wrong play. Game stacking is always prevalent. Or 6-man stacking is prevalent. Using third lines, leaving salary on the table. So there's going to just be, especially in that DK 2-man advantage, which is really stupid, the 10K to first on a 3-game slate with like 150 max. Yes, it is called the Josh stack. Some people don't know, but we're going to go with Josh stack. If I had a guess, I think... No, but I was wrong on Sunday because... Well, I got to sneeze. Got to think about watermelons. It will go away. That's my secret of the day. Saturday, I was super surprised how chalky Corey Crawford was because I used Philly 1, and Crawford was like almost 20%, and it blew my mind. Like, I didn't expect Corey Crawford to be that high at all. I don't know if it's going to be that high again tonight. If I know he's going to be, 15, 20%, on a big slate, and if that equates to what, like 30-35% on a small slate. If someone tells me Corey Crawford's going to be close to 30% tonight, I am loading every single weapon I have with all Rangers. Every lineup will have Rangers if Corey Crawford's going to be chalk. But I honestly don't have a good feel on ownership for this slate. It's kind of a mess. On Chicago's side, I like the top line, though. You know, New York is just brutal defensively. Tays, Sod, and Panic, I think, are in play. You want to go to the second line, I don't have an issue either. I think that is going to be more chalky than the top line, though. That I'm pretty sure of. Nisimov, Schmaltz, and Patty Kane. I think 7,700 is still a little steep for Patty Kane, but price doesn't really matter tonight. On the blue line, you know, Shattenkirk for the Rangers for sure. I don't like using Keith or Seabrook. Seabrook's super cheap, 3,900, so he's in play. Jan Ruda is definitely in play if Cody Franson is still out. He had a good game last time out. He'll probably be a tad chalky at 3,600, but on, you know, certain slates, I think, you know, cheap chalk is much preferred than expensive chalk. And again, I have no interest in Corey Crawford. Franson is in, so yeah, Ruda gets a bump down. You can definitely make a case for Franson and Seabrook. Best cash goalie, Hank? I don't know about that. I don't even know if there's like a go-to cash goalie tonight. It's brutal. You put, I think, you know, Gibson, Hank, Howard, not in that order. I think those are the cash game goalies. Let's move on to the Boston-Anaheim game. Boston's traveling to Anaheim to face the Ducks. Marchand is out. Ducks are all banged up. Getzlaf is out. Kessler is out still. You know, Krejci skated for the Bruins, but he's not going to be back tonight. He will be back Thursday most likely. Bjork is out for the Bruins as well. I kind of like Anaheim's top line tonight, even though they're just awful defensively. Raquel, Perry, Grant. I think there's some value to that tonight. I don't like Tuukka Rask. Yeah, we'll get to that. You know, Boston 2 is interesting to me tonight for sure. You know, Anaheim 1 is in play for me. AD is pretty stout on Boston 2 as well. He's not a huge fan of Boston 1 because I can't believe this is actually coming out of my mouth. The Chris Wagner line stopped Tampa Bay 1 from scoring 5-on-5. Wagner, Cogliano, and Silfverberg. You know, they did get a bump down without Marchand. You know, Peter, whatever his name is, Kilharick, doesn't really do much of anything for me. I do like the second line, Jordan Suarez, Frankie Vetrano, who's super cheap. He's 30 for 100, same price as Sam Bennett, and Dantine Heinen, 3,800. I think, you know, there's very good value on this line. Yeah, I think Silfverberg's in play. The thing is, they're going to get Bergeron, which kind of, you know, without Marchand, it's not as scary, but I don't like attacking players that are facing Bergeron, even though I'm not a huge fan of Tuukka Rask. You know, the second line, you know, Silfverberg as a one-off is okay. Obviously, if it was a larger slate, I would, you know, advise probably not, but 3-game, I have no issues with it. On the blue line, definitely can stack power play 1. Both teams in this game, I think, you can stack power play 1. My favorite play in this game is Anaheim 1, though, then Boston 2, then Boston 1, then Anaheim 2. On the blue line for the Bruins, if you can fit Torrey Krug or Charlie McAvoy, 5,300, 4,300 respectively, I think you can do that if you're, trying to get creative with a punt. Brandon Carlo, 2,900. Sees a good amount of minutes. He hasn't been very productive, but it's a way to differentiate yourself. Zdeno Chara, 3,400. He's a 6'9" meat suit now. Doesn't really do too much. For the Ducks, Lindholm is a game time decision. If he is out, Montour is always in play, but if Lindholm is out, that definitely bumps Sami Vatanen, 3,700. I think he will be a strong play. If you want some block shots and punt galore, you could go Josh Manson. Perry would know better than me. DFS punt rules, Carl home, Chara on the road, so lean Chara. Perry knows what he's talking about. He uses Bruins defensemen all the time. Again, Tuukka Rask, 7,200 is cheap. I think he's going to have ownership. Not a huge fan. GPP, it's in play. There's only 6 goalies tonight, so I think Tuukka's in play. Gibson, 8,200 is expensive. I lean towards him more in cash than GPPs. You saw last night that Hellebuck at 8,400 almost got a shutout. It would have paid off, but because he let in 1 goal, Dubnyk was the obvious play, and that's what worries me about Gibson. So I think, to recap, I think you can Josh stack almost every team tonight. You can stack every team tonight. Push comes to shove, I really like Detroit tonight. I like the Rangers' second line. Almost everything's in play. Like I wish I can give you better advice, but I'm leaning towards using Detroit, Rangers, the Ducks top line, a little bit of Boston, a little bit of Anaheim. It's just where I started to play. I prefer DK because of that. I don't mind FanDuel. It's essentially the same thing. I just like that there's a utility in DraftKings to let you get a little bit more creative. FanDuel scoring changes every few hours. It was plus minus. They had plus minus as a stat for a while, and I really didn't like that. So that's why I prefer DK. And I play a lot of the smaller sports like MMA, NASCAR, that kind of stuff, which they don't offer on FanDuel. So most of my bankroll anyway is on DK. But yeah, that covers the 3-game slate. A 56-person, 50 single entry, 3-2-2, 3-3-2. My thing for 3 max and single entry, my preferred build is 3-3-2. You can even go 3-2-2-1 or 3-2-2-1, something like that. What did I run last night? I ran a 4-2-2-1. Yeah, one day. I started with a $25 deposit and built up. So you don't like because no, I like Detroit too. They're going to be out against Calgary one, which isn't a terrible matchup for Detroit too. I just like the Detroit top line a little bit better. Yeah, no issue with the second line. I wish Mantha was with the second line. I wish the second line was Mantha, Larkin, Anthony Ciu. I'd lock and load that, but Tatar, Larkin, Anthony Ciu, definitely in play. Let you fit in anything you want. Yes, I do like Rick Nash and cash tonight. New York 2 is my Rangers line of choice in GPPs as well. I think Kevin Hayes at 4K on DK is way too cheap for him. I just like the way that line's put together. I try to calm the noise on my Rangers bias, though. Kane too overpriced for his production lately. This is the thing, if people have that mindset, which is entirely possible, he might go a little lower owned than he should because of his price. So that makes him a better GPP play. I don't know if that's the mindset of everybody. I think people just plug in Chicago, especially the Kane line, especially against a Rangers team who isn't very good defensively, even though they've won a bunch in a row. That second line really isn't that expensive, though, because Anisimov and Schmaltz are cheap. So it's really not an issue tonight. Maybe on bigger slate, it might be an issue. Goalie for cash, goalie for GPP. GPP, I think all 6 are in play. Cash is not that attractive tonight. I think Gibson, Hank, Howard, one of those 3, I think, would be my cash game goalie. So that wraps up today. You are welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow. I know it's a bigger slate, so I'll have, I don't know what that means. I'm old. I'm sure it's obvious and I'll figure it out right away. But so tomorrow's a nice slate. I'm sure there's going to be nice GPPs. I'll have better analysis than just play everybody. I kind of took a stand, though. Detroit. I'm taking a stand with Detroit tonight. A little more, and some Rangers. So good luck, everybody, tonight. Member of the tribe. Everyone's a member of the tribe. If you guys tune in and ask questions, you guys rock. Play for tickets, yeah. Always play for tickets. I love playing for tickets. It's a sneaky way to build a bankroll if you get the tickets. Convert them into. So say you play like a $2 ticket or a $2 satellite for a $150 ticket, and you get it, and then you min cash the 150. You turn the 2 into 300. My Twitter is JRH002DFS. You can follow me there. You can hound me on there for my awful takes on food. But we will see you all tomorrow. Hope you all win money. Good luck, everybody.